Hello and welcome into another edition of the NFL Roundup Podcast. I'm Shane Stanley, joined again by John Hepso.
Hey.
And today we're going to get into some brief news topics and then continue on with some of our positional breakdowns. We'll get into some running backs, some tight ends, and some trench work today with the O-line and D-line. Not the easiest and fun tape to watch on some O-line.
Yeah,
but,
they're really a lot of the same thing like you see with a lot of defensive linemen and offensive linemen.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny enough because there's, like, looking through these guys, like, there's so many first-round projections for the O-line and D-line, but,
it's a great draft for that. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it just so happened that it's this year. We got to talk about the kind of not boring positions, but there's no flair to it. You know, this is all just hard-working people. And the guys who do the work so the flashy wide receivers and the flashy running backs can do that work, right?
Yeah, we'll try our best. I mean, a lot of the traits are similar between these guys, so we'll try our best not to be repetitive with some of the stuff we go through. But anyways, we'll go through the top, mostly the first round projection kind of guys. Now the tight ends and running backs are a little bit more deep. There's a pretty clear class of like 5 or 6 for each. So we'll go through that. But to start off, we'll get into our news topics. We haven't really there was one we missed last week with Bruce Ariens. We'll get into that in just a moment. But we'll start off today with Derek Carr's extension. I believe this was Wednesday, I want to say this happened. So we just want to talk about what the contract is and whether or not, well, I mean, it's kind of the standard for quarterbacks now, but is he a top 10 to earn a contract like this? So he did get an extension for $121.5 million over 3 years. So what's your initial thoughts on that contract?
So between him and Devontae Adams, they're holding up about $70 million in cap.
Yeah.
Right, per year, which is between two players. That's crazy. That would be in the territory of if Tyreek Hill were to be paid by the Chiefs.
Right.
Very similar. $40 million a year quarterback, $30 million per year wide receiver.
And obviously Kansas City opted out of doing that. That was a big part of why they traded him.
Yeah. Well, they replaced that cap with maybe 3 players.
Yeah.
Three solid pieces they can plug and play with, and continue on. But Derek Carr, is he a top 10 quarterback? So let's just go through here. We got, in no particular order.
Yeah.
Mahomes,
Rodgers, Brady really stand out right off the bat.
Yeah.
Then you get into your younger crop. Well, Stafford too. I think I would put him ahead.
Yeah.
Then you get into your young crop: Allen, Jackson, Herbert. Then it gets questionable because then you start getting into the Murrays and the Daks and the Cousins and a lot of these guys. Trying to think of them. Watson's ahead of him for sure.
And man, I'd even put almost Baker in that mix.
Baker's in that
based on last
grouping,
year.
I would say, with him. So there's probably a clear, I would say, of those names we listed, probably fair to say at least 8 that are for sure. And then you're really into like the Tuas and
you can nitpick like crazy then, right?
Yeah, you can really break apart. So I would say it's pretty close, just because I did see a stat yesterday that he actually leads the league in the past 5 years in turnovers and losses.
Wow.
So I expect that to change a little bit this year. From a team perspective, they never had the best team. Of course, they got a pretty good team. I mean, he's got the weapons. Their defense probably still needs a bit of work. Tough division, of course. That's only gotten better this year. So I don't know. It kind of depends how you look at it. I still look at them as 4th of the 4. So there's still losses coming. So is he a top 10? Wilson is another name that was on that list. That there's so many that we're just missing here, and it's tough. It's tough.
He's
to say.
in the maybe 10 to. He's in the 10 to 15 range.
Matt Ryan, another one that's in the same boat.
Over the last, I think, 6 seasons, Matt Ryan actually leads the entire league in passing yards, which is an impressive stat that I don't think anyone would have known.
And there's these young guys that'll step up, probably take another step forward. Trevor Lawrence is probably going to get better over the next few years.
Justin Fields,
Murray, Fields, there's definitely room to grow for some of these guys too. It's tough. I really, coming into this, when I really thought about it and listed them all out, I was thinking, Carr's probably safe to say 9 to 10, but the more I talk about it,
the further he falls.
Yeah, it seems like he keeps going down further and further. Now, I mean, I don't want to say he's not worth the contract, but it is low in years, so it's not a crazy heavy commitment if he does turn out to not be.
The thing is with quarterback is it's either you have one or you don't. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if he's 15th in the league or not. If you don't have him, who do you got? Mm-hmm. You've got somebody who's 35th in the league because then you're dealing with a backup. So you have to pay him.
Yeah, it's tough because you definitely have to pay him if you want to keep him around. But can you win with that guy? I don't think this necessarily puts them in place where they're probably going to be a contender now.
But can you win without him? You got to wait 3 years.
That's the thing, especially with this offseason. They were definitely in the running, I think, for Wilson potentially. Or somebody. I feel like they were their name was definitely out there when it comes to
Rodgers even.
Rodgers.
We mentioned.
No, he was mentioned. Yeah, right. So he definitely feels a need because this extension comes so late too during this offseason too, where there's been so much movement. If they did want to make a move that wasn't for Derek Carr, they kind of missed the boat.
Yeah. They're locked in now.
Yeah. So I mean, they kind of had to do this. I don't know. To my knowledge, he wasn't complaining about his current contract, so maybe this is just a make good, keep him happy kind of thing. But, I mean, again, this is just another quarterback that's now over $40 million a year. I mean, this is the standard. And once again, those guys like Jackson and Murray who don't have their contracts yet are just licking their lips.
Yeah. Let's get into a topic we missed last week, Bruce Ariens' retirement.
Yeah, I don't know how this totally went over our heads. We talked about how Tampa signed a random safety and did not talk about how their coach completely retired out of nowhere.
Wow. I do feel like him and Brady, their personalities didn't mix very well. Because Brady, I was reading something that said every Tuesday Brady would expect the coaches and himself to have a game plan prepared for the next week. At least a draft, Yeah. And then they'd work on it through the week. But Bruce Arians was majority of the time late on that, and Brady he didn't like it. And then anytime him and Byron Leftwich would have a plan in place, they'd bring it to Ariens to get approval,
and he'd just rip it up.
And he'd rip it up, redline it, and change everything.
Yeah.
So Brady is sick and tired of that. I think the Todd Bowles hire was great. Todd Bowles takes the defense.
Yeah.
He worries about that.
Yeah.
And then Leftwich and Brady handle the offense.
Yeah, I mean, not to say Leftwich shouldn't get any credit because, I mean, he seems to have a good relationship with Brady, if nothing else. I'm really happy he didn't go, and there was talk of him becoming the coach for the Jaguars when the offseason first started. So I'm glad he stuck around with this, but he is kind of a yes man kind of guy. I don't think he's going to, take a stand and say, no, this is the way we're doing, which is kind of how Ariens is, which is why I think he's, if nothing else, way more open to listening to what Brady thinks first and then kind of seeing now. I don't think Brady should have full control either because, I mean, that could be a mess in and of itself. So, I think it's fair to say, yes, Brady deserves some input, but not all of it either. There's definitely, a fine line.
Well, he was always like that. Josh McDaniels, him and Josh had a great relationship, preparing game plans. But Brady knows what works on the field. Yeah. He sees a specific defense lined up. He knows where the holes are. He knows where he's going to go.
Especially in that system for 20 years. To a certain aspect, you can say Brady's still learning.
Everybody is.
In a newer system, I mean, the league is constantly changing. I mean, obviously, what worked in 2004 isn't going to work what works now. It's not the same thing. So, I mean, there's definitely some room to grow for everybody involved, really. I mean, I think this will only present more of an opportunity for Leftwich, too, down the line. If this goes well, I mean, it's for the most part, I'm sure Bowles will probably have some say in it overall, but I'm sure it's more so just to give the green light and everything's good. I don't think now, and Bowles did have head coaching experience before, I believe, with the Jets. So
it's kind of a tragedy.
But he does have experience there and knowing what that he needs to be involved with the offense too. I'm sure he was there too. So at least it's not a first time coach will kind of trial by fire. It's he does have some experience and well earned for sure.
Yeah, that's right. So we got a big move here made by the Packers. They shored up their wide receiver room by adding Sammy Watkins.
It's done. Now they can draft 2 quarterbacks in the first round.
Yeah. So I don't know how this really changes the outlook for Green Bay. I think it kind of, their draft strategy changes from potentially picking 2 wide receivers to picking 1 and maybe a linebacker or something.
Which I don't think is bad for them at all. I think that almost should be the play anyways. I mean, I don't think their defense is fantastic. It's good. I mean, it had really good moments. It played really well against the 49ers in their playoff game. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But, you know, it was, you know, they've had good games. Definitely improved from 2020, I think. So going in the right direction. They did lose a couple pieces, too. So I think they should go defense in the first round, at least not in the second round.
Yeah.
So, you know, not all bad. But, I mean, in terms of Sammy Watkins, to me, this is, like we talked about, he's almost like a Randall Cobb clone at this point. So
yes.
now they've got 2 guys who are kind of doing the same thing.
2 guys who are number 3s.
I believe they kept wasn't Scaler? Yes. So he's back. Watkins, Cobb, and I believe that's their receiver room right now.
That's it. And Amari Rodgers.
Yeah.
He was a rookie 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how high was he drafted.
He was drafted like 2nd round.
Okay, well that's not bad. So he may turn into some bigger role. But I mean, really, it's the number 3, I guess, at best. So
yeah,
kind of see, like I wouldn't even know who their number 2 is. Probably Lazard.
It must be Lazard.
I would say,
but they've got a room full of number 3s.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rule out Green Bay trading both of their first rounders to move up maybe in the top 15 to get a Drake London, to get a James Williams.
If I was them, I would do that. I mean, it sucks having to give up. Like, it's nice that they gain so much capital off of trading Adams, but then have to trade that pick again to. But if they move up and get their guy, I mean, I guess it's kind of worth it. And Drake London was one of my favorites, so it's a good example.
He's like a Devontae Adams kind of deal.
Yeah,
he's a big body, able to work in the slot, can go over top.
He was probably one of my favorites, I think, that I've seen.
He was impressive. Well, in our first version of the mock draft, he was the first wide receiver taken.
Yep. Again, we'll get to that closer to the draft because I mean, it's just so ever changing, injuries and trades.
It's changing every day, pretty much.
Every day, yeah. I mean, there's people who are moving up in the draft that we didn't consider too much, so we will do some shifting with that and get on with that. But talking about receivers that are coming back on 1-year deals, we had AJ Green coming back to the Cardinals.
You said that was going to happen.
Yeah, I thought it was going to happen. I mean, there's not a whole lot of. I think Green Bay was probably a team that was probably looking into a guy like this, similar to Sammy Watkins. Both of them are in a very similar spot in their career. 1-year deal, come in, small money. I do like AJ Green. He does have a bit of size, rather than Watkins. So I actually kind of like him a touch better for Green Bay if they were to go after him. But he did sign back with the Cardinals. So getting into Murray and how he seems disgruntled. I mean, obviously, he seems more about the contract than anything else. Yeah. But I mean, it's another weapon for him if nothing else. I don't know what he got left, but it is somewhat back for them.
Yeah. And Tyrann Mathieu is still sitting out there on the market. He's met with the Saints, and I've heard rumblings about the Rams potentially moving to get him.
I believe I heard he was in talks with the Eagles too. He might have met
the Eagles
them,
as well.
Met them virtually, like I said, just like a video call or something like that.
Right.
I don't think I believe he met in person with the Saints. I believe he's from there, so he might have been there for his off-season program, just doing what he's doing, visiting family or whatever in the off-season, working out there. So might have been able to access them a bit easier. So he met with them. He met with the Eagles. I mean, Rams is an interesting team.
That would be insane for them.
The rich get richer there for sure. So I don't know. Like, the thing is, I mean, I'd like him to not be in the NFC South, but I understand if he goes to the Saints. One, it's his home team, and two, like,
they have a hole at safety.
I don't think it changes much, though, in my perspective of that team either, because like the Saints have had a good defense in the past couple of years. So like nothing, like they went from having a good defense to having a lesser defense now. Not bad, but a lesser version of what it was, and then now I think that would get them back to just where they were.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, like it's just the same defense. I don't think it pushes them forward. Kind of keeps them in the same place. Like he played a great player like Marcus Williams. Certainly would fill in that hole. They're above the salary cap now. They cleared out a ton to get Watson, and it didn't work out. So they do have the money there to sign him. So definitely see that right now. It's the way I'm leaning. But I mean, if I had to have a preferred destination, definitely be Philly.
I'd go Philly too. Yeah. And we got Stephon Gilmore finally coming off the market here. He signed with the Colts for 2 years, $22 million.
Yeah, it's interesting timing because you see with a lot of these free agents now, like there's a certain period where they can like sign for with less like comp picks and stuff from where he's coming from. So like had he signed after the draft, I think Carolina would have got something for him or something like that. So a lot of teams are looking to wait till after to sign some people. And this happened before the draft, so again, don't expect to see a whole lot of signings between now and the draft in terms of big players. You might see it more so after draft.
And even with teams, like when they're about to pick, and if there's a position that they need to fill, and they can get a solid player in the draft, and not have to pay him, well, they're going to go that route opposed to free agency where they got to dish out.
Yeah.
So if they can't get that position, expect them to do it after free agency.
So this was interesting because he was looking at the Rams as well. Of course, rich get richer, but it still kind of worked out that way because the Colts have a very strong defense. As is, if they did have a weak point, it probably was at corner. Now, what does Gilmore have left is the question.
I think he's worth 11.
Yeah.
A year.
Oh yeah, I think it was a pretty fair contract. I mean, 2 years. Again, that's probably what he has left of his prime.
What is he, 3 years removed from Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, so I believe it's 2019. So, yeah, I mean, he's still got some good play in him. Didn't have the best year in Carolina going there. He's had some injury troubles the past couple of years. So, I mean, that's really probably the biggest thing with him now is staying healthy. But he's on a good defense. He's in the AFC, that's already pretty loaded with good teams. So, I mean, not a terrible move for him or definitely a good move for Indy, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. We just want to do a couple quick hits here on Antonio Brown and Kyler Murray. So this is the third installment of the Antonio Brown shit show on the NFL Roundup podcast. So him and Floyd Mayweather, or I should say Floyd Mayweather, is proposing to teams that they should sign AB, and if he stays the full season and doesn't cause any trouble, the team has to pay him $20 million a year. Okay?
Yeah.
And the other side of it is if AB isn't available for the whole year and he kind of screws it up, Floyd has to give the team $20 million. That's a big vouch, buddy. $20 million on your friend? Like, who is a shithead? Known for being a shithead?
It's nothing to Floyd. I mean, that's chump change to him.
No doubt.
But especially because I'm pretty sure I heard recently he's having another comeback fight this year, so he'll get that money and then some. So
yeah, that's right.
No worries coming from his pocket, but
it's such a strange proposition.
Strange, yeah. And I mean, like, I don't know if Antonio said, "Hey, you should do this," or whether this was just Floyd kind of like say believing in a friend or whatever. But I mean, this is like it's getting quite sad.
And the fact that Antonio Brown has a bum ankle. His ankle's gone.
He's
waiting
to get surgery until a team signs him. No one's going to sign you if you're hurt.
It doesn't make any sense. You're not making the right moves here.
And he does want a particular amount of money too. I mean, won't even cross how many burnt bridges he already has. Like how many teams are willing to even take him on at this point. But I mean, like, you really got to wonder, does a team, like a Green Bay or something look into this? And this is not what they do. They don't have necessarily an owner. Like, they have, like, shareholders
committee,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, so I can't imagine everyone's going to green like that. I mean, he's kind of wanted to go to Baltimore. I believe his cousin is Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
That kind of makes sense with their current depth chart at wideout. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does a team like that take a shot? Certainly not at $20 million. I mean, the Bucs signed him to, I want to say 6 or 8 or something last year.
Or was it $1 million with incentives?
It could go up to whatever,
Yeah.
6 or 8. And,
Yeah.
Again, he was throwing fits on the sideline about catches and whatnot. So I assume he did not reach some of them. So, I mean, the contract kind of worked out for them. But, if they had him in the playoffs, would they have, beaten the Rams? Potentially. I mean, it was so close of a game. They didn't have Goblin. I mean, he probably could have helped them then. So I mean, this is the kind of faith you're putting in a guy that he might catch a pass in the Super Bowl, or he might throw his helmet and run off the field shirtless. Like, you really don't know. You don't know what guy you're going to get week to week, and it could, a guy like Brady, who he's truly respected and commended, to just turn on him the way he did. I mean, do you think he's going to put up with that shit in Arizona or to somewhere where I think you really need a quarterback that's a big deal.
Like if Brady can't handle him, then no quarterback can.
One of the greatest leaders, like Aaron Rodgers, who's also a shithead and a perennial bad teammate to a lot of people who are out there who have played with him. Like, do you really see the two of them getting along?
Can't see it.
I can't see it either. Like, I don't know. Like, and he would walk over Lamar Jackson.
Yes. Yeah, that would just be a bad move for the Ravens.
That would just be terrible, because I think there's a hierarchy when it comes to that, and even I don't think Harbaugh would deal with a shit either. Really.
No. So Kyler Murray, he put a proposal in, him and his agent, to the Cardinals for an extension, and I think 3 weeks ago or a month ago, he removed all Cardinals symbols, him in jerseys, everything from his Instagram and social media.
Social media, yeah.
And now he pulled his proposal from the team. So I honestly don't know what's going on with this
I imagine the proposal was just an absurd amount of money. I can't imagine this was hey, let's start at this number and communicate. I'm sure this was, hey, this is what we want. Match
$40 million.
Match it or kick rocks, right?
Yeah.
But
I imagine since they pulled it, they're looking for more money than the initial proposal.
Exactly. That was probably the starting amount. I think that was what they wanted. You know how sometimes you want a certain amount of money, you might start above what you really want, and then you guys can work your way down, and somewhere in the middle, kind of meeting that sweet spot. I think they kind of said, this is what we want, and then the Cardinals said, hey, this is what we want, and then they're like, yeah, screw that. So they kind of pulled it. So they said that he was upset and unfollowing him on social media and all that petty shit, and then then it seemed no, they smoothed it over, no, everything's good here, and then now it seems like he's mad again, and his agent is not helping things, but this is his first contract. Every quarterback and their quarterback friend is making $40 million now. I mean, this is,
and the Deshaun Watson contract kind of shafted everything.
It really put everything up. Again, Carr, like we talk about, is he up there in that echelon of high end quarterback and what he's making now, and I'm sure Murray wants to make that as well. I'm not against him getting $40 million a year. I just he hasn't proven anything to me. He's had one shot in the playoffs. He was absolutely pathetic, just awful.
If you look at his stats and wins over his first 3 seasons, wins have gone up every year.
Yeah.
Completion percentage has gone up every year. Mm-hmm. Passer rating gone up every year, and yards per game gone up every year.
Yeah.
So he has improved every year he's been in the league.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't led to the biggest prize,
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what all quarterbacks are measured against, is Super Bowls, right? And if you can't get out of the first round, well, your owners are going to use it against you. It's leverage. The tape is there, right?
That is completely fair to say, listen, he's gotten better in 3 or 4 years. Will he move up and continue to grow? And you definitely have to, take that into account and say, hey, we expect him to get better. I remember Andrew Luck, when he started, they missed the playoffs, and then they made it to the wild card, and then they made it to the next round, then they made it to the next round. He kept going up every year.
Yes.
Literally, the team went further every year.
You could see the team growth.
And again, if they had made it to, say, the NFC Championship this past year, when they were the 1 seed there for quite a while, so I mean, not far-fetched to say. And had he made it there, they would have been okay, we can definitely win with this guy. He's not proven in the playoffs, but he has proven something. That's kind of what Josh Allen did, and he got paid for it. So I mean, that's kind of maybe he'll play kind of disgruntled this year, and if he proves himself, the team, I'm sure, will be willing and able to give him money next offseason. But right now, I mean, he's still under contract.
let him play if I'm the owner.
Yeah, he's still under contract for what he's under, unless he holds out. That's on him. That's not going to make himself look any better. But it is what it is,
Yep, that's right. All right, well, that's it for the news topics here today. We're going to get into our positional breakdown. I guess we'll start with running backs.
Yeah, sure.
All right. My top-rated running back is Breece Hall out of Iowa State. He's 6'1", 220, so he's got good size.
Yep.
This guy is fast.
I loved watching him play. I found he has a great spin move. I've seen that a lot on tape. Of course, plays with made my boy Brock Purdy look a little bit better because he was on that team.
A lot of Iowa State guys here.
Yeah, a couple on our list today, and of course we mentioned Purdy last week. So I mean, he's thick, right? He's a bigger guy. Seemed like he was harder to take down. He had some breakaway speed when there's holes there. A lot of times he was going up the A gap and it's clogged, and he'd do a spin move, and all of a sudden he's breaking free. I love watching that.
Yeah.
Almost, I think, I didn't watch a super long video of tape with him, and must have seen that spin move about 8 or 10 times. Like he really likes to pull it out, and it really works.
And he's very deceptive with his open field movement. Great vision.
Yeah.
And great vision and anticipation, following blocks.
Yes.
Like you see when they pull the guard and he's running out on the outside handoff. It's a thing of beauty to watch him just kind of put his hand on the guard and kind of judge.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, he did have that kind of like Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. Hesitation too. Yeah, he takes a step, just a little cut. Not really moving anywhere. He's kind of in place, and then all of a sudden he just shoots off. And as you say, great vision.
He could pass catch like Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. There's some great moves. His wheel route was very good. Definitely can make some guys miss in open field. I really liked him. Pretty quick.
Him matched up with a linebacker.
For a bigger guy, yeah.
Him matched up with a linebacker in man coverage out of the backfield. Mismatch every time.
Yeah.
You give him a double move, the linebacker just can't keep up.
Mm-hmm. So he had 46 catches in 2 years. So not like a high volume catcher, but definitely
2 a game.
Definitely can be something in his game that, because there's some backs on the list that really didn't do that at all.
No, at all. Yeah. But he doesn't offer anything in pass protection.
No,
at all. Like he probably won't be out there on 3rd and long or 4th and 5, like going for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
He needs to work on his power run game a little bit, like running draw plays right through the line, run north-south, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just committing to his blocks opposed to being patient. Just getting the ball and running downhill like Taylor or Derrick Henry, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's more fast and agile. He gets to his spot really quickly.
Yeah.
And just the in and outs for the blocks. A couple times where he jumped into a tackle when probably shouldn't have and taken a loss.
Yeah. I found that he didn't break tackles all the time. Like, he used the spin move effectively to create space, but when he was caught, he seemed caught.
Yeah.
Like I said, he has that breakaway speed once he gets to the open field, but if not, he usually goes down. And he was their lead back and has played for his 3 seasons in college, so he does have a bit of miles on him. He's good. I mean, he's a really good player. I really liked him. He's definitely the top back here of this grouping. He's projected, I believe, around the 2nd round. We should see him go. So day 2 for sure. He's really the biggest standout back, I think, of our group here today, and I like what I've seen from him mostly.
Yeah. The thing about running backs nowadays is you want to get an athlete in the backfield who can do all these things, but don't have any tread on the tires at all, or have a lot of tread left on the tires.
Yeah.
Like you said, he was a lead featured back for 3 consecutive seasons. That's might raise some red flags for teams, because you look at the Cowboys.
Yes.
What's his name? Zeke, yeah. Zeke Elliott. He was solid for 3 years and 4 years, and then just stepped off a cliff.
A lot of these guys aren't seeing a second contract now, especially not a big money deal. I mean, usually, like, I know with wideouts now, like, once they get to 30, you're like, okay. Like, running backs is even less than that. I think 26, 27. Like, and some of these guys, looking at our list today, like, not always running back, but just in general, some of them are 25 coming out of college. Like, they are older coming out now. I think COVID had a bit of an effect on that. Some players didn't play last year, or really wanted to get that last year this year. With not playing last year, they wanted to get that extra tape out there, which totally makes sense. So yeah, some older players this year, more so than normal. So definitely running backs that would take an effect.
Yeah. So number 2 on my list, Isaiah Spiller.
Yep.
Texas A&M, bit the same size and weight as Breece Hall. But this guy breaks tackles, buddy.
Yeah.
He is just impossible to bring down. If it's an arm tackle, he's breaking through it like it's nothing. Like he's walking on a Sunday breeze, like just walking down the road, just giving her. He can cut on a dime, great balance runner. And I noticed at the end of plays, like if he's running an outside sweep or an outside run, he'll run to the sideline and there'll be like the safety or the corner coming in to hit him.
Yeah.
And he'll just put his head down and lay the body into him. He's not just going to go out of bounds.
Yeah, he wasn't shy at contact. I must say, I wasn't that sold on this guy. I really didn't see a whole lot of breakaway runs. I didn't see him. He did break tackles and get extra yardage, but I found he was able to get caught because of that. He would usually be, three guys, one on each leg, dragging him around. So that's cool to see. But it was I found that he was caught more times than not. He's a bigger guy. He's again quick for his size, but his size, like I said, if you're not breakaway running in college, you're probably gonna have a tough time in the NFL.
Very tough.
Guys are bigger, they're faster. I must say I was not fully sold on him. Like I said, he has good hands too.
A limited route tree though.
Yeah, he doesn't. I didn't see a ton of tape with him catch and pass. It was more so straightforward runs. He was, like I said, big, tough to bring down, but he didn't really get away in those places. He couldn't really go east-west. He's kind of just a north-south runner, pretty straightforward.
My comparison, been Jarvis Green Ellis.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Old Patriot, yeah.
Like a solid 3rd and 2 back.
Yep.
Give him the ball, he'll get you 2 yards.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I could be completely wrong. I don't see him being like a very super productive every down back, especially not starting right off the hop. Like if a team is really needy at running back, I don't know. He didn't really stand out to me.
He'd fit the number 2 role, like the back behind Zeke.
Pollard,
yeah. Like he can add a bit of energy,
Yeah,
to a number 2 spot.
We don't have to jump forward quite yet. I really like Kenneth Walker a bit more than him. He is projected a bit lower, but I liked him a little bit more.
Yeah, let's get into Kenneth Walker.
Man, I loved watching this guy's tape. He was
sick.
He was a touchdown machine. Like he would routinely score every touchdown in their game.
Yeah,
like
they're in the red zone.
They would have 30 points and he would have 4 touchdowns. Like routinely, multiple 3-4 games this season.
Yeah.
Like he was scoring touchdowns like crazy, breakaway speed. He was their entire offense. Like
he led the nation with 88 broken tackles.
They were up to 8-0. They were number 3 ranked team in college football. Like they were like up there with the Alabamas and stuff in terms of record, and it was all him. It was all him. And then they did end up losing, I think, 2 or 3 games by the end of the season, but. It wasn't from his lack of play, that was for sure. He was very consistent, great vision, very quick. Again, bigger guy, strong, aggressive, physical, was not afraid to get hit, quick feet.
He didn't do much passing or pass catching though.
No, he's not huge. He's 5'9", so he does have some athleticism. He did grade well at combine for like 3-cone drill and stuff like that. Pretty good vertical for a shorter guy. I really enjoyed watching his tape. He did have some catches, but not a primary thing. Just something he can add onto his game. Maybe something you can learn in the right system. Definitely a guy I would prefer to see as a lead back. Like I said, more of a primary runner than kind of like a hybrid. Someone I liked. Yeah, really enjoyed watching his tape.
Yeah, my player comparison. He runs like Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Like every time he gets the ball, it could be a potential home run. But he doesn't block.
No.
And he doesn't pass catch like Jonathan Taylor.
No.
Jonathan Taylor's a very willing blocker. And, he can run routes.
Yeah.
But this guy seems kind of limited in that sense. But just the running ability is enough to take him high in the second round.
Yeah, so I actually preferred him over Spiller. I think both will go similar, like I said, day 2 pick. A little bit later in Breece Hall, probably late 2nd, early 3rd between the two of them. Like I said, I prefer Walker. He has good size, but he's not going to dominate NFL linebackers. He's probably not going to run them over as easy. Again, pass blocking for the same reason probably will be an issue. Catching passes, not the best runner, but he is good in open space. As we said, once he gets going, he's a little bit hard to catch. And he does hesitate a little bit too at the line. He gets caught sometimes, so that was my negatives on him. But overall, very, very positive in what I see, man.
Let's go on to James Cook.
Yeah,
this guy is one of my favorites in the draft. Not necessarily the best prospect, but just watching him, he's the most versatile back in the league. He can run sweeps, inside draws, run outside. He can be lined up as wide receiver if you want.
Yeah,
set him up outside. He got quick feet, good vision in the open field, agile, and he doesn't have miles on the tires. That's what I like.
Yeah,
you know, it's especially important for NFL running backs these days. But this is what got me. His average per carry, 6.1.
Wow.
So like a 4.5 average is great.
Yeah.
And this guy's getting over 6. That's great.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, again, he played on a very, very good team. He played with
Georgia,
yeah. Georgia. Played with them. So, I mean, they had a great defense, great offensive pieces around them. So, he probably did benefit a bit from that. You know, very fast. Again, good size. I really did enjoy watching him, too. I think we're getting into, you know, one of those guys who have some strengths, but definitely some stuff to work on too.
Sure.
When it comes down, I think he'll probably be definite third round guy. I don't expect to see him much higher than that. May even drop below that. There's definitely some guys now. I know him and Brian Robinson too are just playing on really featured schools, so they might be a little overrated when it comes to that they've been seeing a lot on national television and whatnot. So I will say I do like him though.
There's also an issue here. It's kind of a character concern. He was arrested in 2019 for 2 misdemeanors. Driving with an open container of alcohol and driving without a valid license. But nothing happened since. That's his only kind of slip up. Yeah. But I'm sure owners and teams are going to look deep into that.
Yes, of course.
Not a pass protector at all. You know, lack of size probably brings durability into question.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, solid third round player.
Yep.
Is what you expect in third round. And you wanted to get into Brian Robinson?
Yes, I have a bit on him. Again, bigger school, lots of talent around him, so you know, take that for what it's worth. He has good size, height and weight, length, wingspan, really good for NFL power back. He's pretty quick. If there's a hole there, now again, very, very good offensive line. Definitely aided him in college. I don't know. He would have to be.
Where did he play?
Alabama. He would have to play in the right scheme, I think, in the NFL to be successful. Probably a team that's already a pretty good running team, like Philadelphia or something like that.
Right.
Again, patient when the hole's there, absolutely. Safe player. He does have some catching experience, good hands. Very quick in open field, in thicker frame, you know, a little bit harder to get him down sometimes. He fights for extra yardage, same thing as you said. If he's going towards the sideline, somebody's there. He doesn't tower away. Yep. No history of injuries. He's very, very durable. As you say, not too many miles on him. Only been in college for a couple of years. So it's unlike a lot of the other college backs we see that when they get to the NFL, they already have 3 years of just solid wear and tear, number one back. Not necessarily with him, because Alabama is currently always churning out talent each and every year. So, I mean, he doesn't have as much on him. He's not as breakaway quick runner as some of the other guys. He doesn't have the same breakaway speed. His longest run in college was only 37 yards. So when you look at some of those other guys playing against, again, you know, like the Michigan State and stuff might be playing smaller schools. So Kenneth Walker, for example, will go off against other teams. Alabama's usually with a tougher schedule. So he doesn't have that burst that some of the other backs have. He's not too accomplished as a pass catcher. He does do it, but not really a primary option. Hasn't been featured as a pass blocker almost at all. So it's been very limited, even snaps to even look at when it comes to that.
That's so tough for running back. It's like 3rd and 5. You're trying to keep the defense on edge and trying to think about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But if you got a back end that can only run the ball, then, well, if he's in the game, it's going to be a run play.
Yeah.
You know, because he can't pass.
Yeah, if it's 3rd and 3, he can't catch, he can't block.
Yeah.
It's almost a liability to have him out there.
Exactly.
If it's not a run play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, then you play right into the defense's hands in the scouting report, and it's tough. It's tough.
So ending off with the running back, we just want to make a quick note. Cincinnati had Jerome Ford. He was, again, playing on a very good team. Just want to make mention that he is kind of around the same crop of 3rd, 4th round running backs. Should be, again, not a lot of these guys are projected at all, pretty much to go in the 1st round. So from day 2 heading into early day 3, we think there's just going to be a huge run on these running backs. He is in that crop, playing on a good school, quick, good size, some pass catching, good quarterback play with them. So take that for what it is. Some good talent around him. So, but just want to make a note that he is in that crop of running backs that should be taken around that time. So just a 3rd round grade on him as well.
Okay. Let's get into this. May be one of my favorite position analysis so far.
Yeah.
The tight ends.
Yeah.
Dude, I loved watching this crap of boys. Now, they're not going to go Kyle Pitts top 5 pick or anything.
No, definitely
but these players will be impactful in the league.
Well, Pitts, was such a standout just because tight ends are rare to go in the 1st round. Usually, even if they're really good, there's something wrong.
Yes.
Gronk probably would have been a 1st round grade back in the day, but he had back surgery and back issues, so he went in 2nd round instead. Usually there's, even if they're going in the 2nd round, loads of talent. There's just something there. Obviously, not many tight ends are coming to the NFL and catching 80 passes or anything like that. There is some limit to their game. Could be a size, could be injuries, usually something in the way there. But our one standout this year is Trey McBride. He's projected as a late 1st. I don't expect to see him go in the 1st round. I actually expect him more in day 2.
Yeah.
There's a couple there at the top, and then we kind of get into all 4th round grades. But he seems to be pretty top of the list when it comes to all projections that he's in. He's very consistent, very strong, great hands, big body. He did play at a small school, which is one of my big things for him. Definite athlete, big truck of a man, versatile. Good
he blocks like crazy.
Good yak ability, hard to get him down. Good stiff arm, very strong body, shoulders off people. Very good shimmy too for a big guy when he is in open space. High compete level, really he
gives it all.
He gets up and throws the ball down and screaming. You can tell he's really into the game.
And you see some clips of outside runs?
Yes,
when he's running, he just takes the corner and just heaves them out of the sidelines.
I mentioned this when I was watching tape that they would show a running play, and I'm like, I was very thrown off. Then they showed just massive pancake block that he threw. Good effort. Has good body positioning in terms of a blocker, so really enjoyed that out of him. He's been inconsistent with his route running sometimes. He's not a huge guy for tight end. You see some getting up 6'6" area, we'll see a bit later with some of them. He's only 6'4", so he's a little bit smaller on the smaller
catch
side.
Radius a little bit less.
But still a big hunk of a man. Again, in college,
if that was a wide receiver, be a beast.
He was a beast in college, but again, you're probably playing against smaller guys too. So he might look a bit bigger on tape than what he does versus NFL standard.
Man, the thing for me here is, yes, he had 90 receptions last year and 1,100 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
He's basically the only person on that offense.
Yes.
Who's worth throwing the ball to. So to me, that I can see that hard production, having him drafted much higher than I think he should go. He's not my top rated tight end.
No?
Just because last year, in 12 games, he only had 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
So that's kind of questionable. Is he as much of a red zone threat as people
Obviously,
think?
you want a big red zone threat.
Yes. Well, tight end, that's huge, right?
Now, he's probably also facing the best defense on the other side.
Yes.
He's the guy
planning for him
to take away. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, so, for me, I got these guys broken up into the tight end types.
Yeah.
And for me, he's a do-it-all tight end.
Yeah.
He'll receive and he'll block.
Yeah.
50% of each, he'll be out there for every play.
Yeah, again, you kind of wish he had a bit more production in terms of touchdowns, but, he had a fair amount of catches.
An insane amount of catches.
Yeah, again, not not gonna run over the whole field. His straight line speed is not great when he's in open field, but he can bulldoze people. Like I said, whether or not that's just him playing smaller people in college, I guess we'll see. But definitely, like I said, cream of the crop at the top of the tight end list. You said that he was not your number one, though. I'm curious as to who you had as number one.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Well, just keep in mind that we're talking about tight ends here.
Mm-hmm.
And a tight end is not known for straight line speed, going to beat a corner deep, with a 4.2 40-yard dash.
Yeah, well, of course.
So just anyone listening, just keep that in mind going through, because it's a consistent thing when you go through the scouting reports for these players. They don't have straight line speed. They're not agile in the open field. And it's like, this guy's 250 pounds. What do you expect?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, for what you need a tight end to do, all these players are fun.
Well, you mentioned a minute ago, if they were that size as a receiver, they'd be lot after.
Yes.
But it's just because, and they're not expected, as a wide receiver, you're not expected to block as much either.
Yeah,
so,
outside runs,
you definitely need that extra size as a tight end, right?
Yeah. So, we got Jalen Wadamar from Texas A&M. 6'5", 255. This guy is super quick.
Yeah.
He played a ton of wide receiver in high school, but then hit a growth spurt, and buddy, did he ever grow. I got him as a potential number one receiving tight end for a team, receiving 80% of the time and blocking 20% of the time.
Yeah.
It's just he's not a good blocker at all, because he's got a kind of a slim build, kind of a wiry build, and he actually looks a lot like Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
When you watch him play, he kind of looks like a wide receiver, but scaled up, like the same slim build at waist, and he's fast as hell, runs crisp routes, has the full route tree. He's just a wide receiver after playing tight end.
Yeah, well, that's what he has the athletic ability of a wideout for sure. Great athlete, good hands. As you said, great route runner. He has quicker speed, obviously, than some of the bigger guys, so he's able to outspeed some people. Creates a separation from that rather than size and strength. He is a good red zone target. He is still 6'5", so he's not gonna necessarily box out people, but he's able to use his height to go up and get it.
Yeah.
Good hands, good contested catcher too. He's able to go up and a 50-50 ball and come down with it. Uses his frame well. Will hold on to the ball even when he gets rocked.
Yeah.
Really good extension, and like I said, good hands, good feet, stay in bounds. So I like what I've seen out of him for the most part. Getting to the negatives, he's a little bit slower sometimes when he does get hit. He doesn't have that same dominant ability to
run after catch,
box people out. Like I said, because of his size, it's more of a athletic, I'm quicker than you kind of thing. So he may run into trouble with his size
against big linebackers.
Yeah, and of course getting hit, smaller guy, a little bit more prone to injuries and whatnot. As I said, with size too, his experience as a blocker is not as good. He played wide receiver in high school, so he actually kind of had to learn tight end on the fly in college too. So he's not necessarily had years and years of experience of always being a tight end. As you said, he hit that growth spurt, I think, and then he kind of had to play tight end.
Yeah. But experience as wide out.
Yeah, so he has decent speed, but he isn't super explosive in the open field. Again, we said that's not necessarily a big hinder to his game. He's not a wide out, so I would take that with a grain of salt too.
Yeah. And I think my favorite tight end of the draft, Jeremy Ruckert.
I really liked him too.
Out of Ohio State.
Yeah, I did.
He's a all out, all effort, every single play. Receiving halftime, he can do that. He can block 100% of the game if you want, playing with the Pats.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mac Jones is going to throw 4 passes in this game. Well, best come, we got Jeremy Ruckert on tight end.
Sure.
And just let her rip, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's listed as a 4th round grade, so there's really a drop off between Wadamar and him. I actually did like his tape better.
Yeah, same.
From what I've seen, he's just a big beast, big, broad shoulders. Really liked his size. He's really smooth runner for his size. Really good hands. Make really good looking catches. One hand diving catches. Some really big touchdown catches. during his highlight tape I seen, I was really impressed with.
He only had 2 drops against 54 receptions in 22 games.
Yeah, reading here now, he has a 110.4 quarterback rating when he's targeted. Jeez. So like, he has a high percentage of catches.
That's sick.
He'll go up and get it. Very versatile.
And you notice when he's running routes,
yeah.
he's like very deceptive, using juke moves,
yeah.
shoulder fakes, hesitations.
He's not necessarily just off the line either as a blocker. He can play outside, which is a great feature to see.
You could throw him in the slot, or you know what I mean?
As you said, loves blocking, not afraid of contact at all, not shy of that. He's quick, soft hands. He flashes really good off the screen. Very easy to pick out from a crowd because of his size.
One issue for me, though, was production. Over 4 years in college, 22 games.
Yes.
He only had 590 yards.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
That's a bit weird. But the thing that I see is Ohio State is constantly churning out wide receivers.
Yeah.
So he's used as a decoy for the most part. His route tree isn't great. It's mostly seams, posts to clear out, or drags. You know, he's kind of limited in that sense, but as soon as you throw him in an NFL offense and he knows what he's expected to do and contribute in the pass game, I have no issue saying that he's going to adapt to that. No trouble.
His size is pretty good, but his weight is not necessarily where you want to be for someone who's going to go from blocking college pass rushes to the NFL. So you might need to, like say, get on that weight training program in the NFL to bulk up a little bit. Probably add another 20 pounds, and the guy just will be a monster. So I look forward to see what he can do. Like I said, really liked what I've seen from him. Hopefully he goes to a place where he can get some targets and some use, and I'm very excited to see how. To
me, my player comparison is George Kittle.
Yeah.
Just the ultimate all-out effort guy.
Yeah, I think just a big, bulky white guy in a red jersey, I think has a lot to do with that. Definitely seen a lot of him in that too. So moving forward, we got Cade Otton, projected 3rd to 4th round, more likely a 4th. Again, from here on out, was pretty much 4th on.
Kind of limited.
Yeah, definitely has some limit to his play. He's versatile. Now he's able to do things, blocking, catching, whatever.
He's the best blocking tight end in the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah. He plays very competitive. He has pretty good size. One thing I noticed was like he changes his speed. Like if he's doing a short route, he doesn't run very fast. Like he kind of slows down a little bit.
Okay.
So I find like if he's got to go deep or something, he's got pretty good speed. But then if he's doing a 5-yard out, sometimes like it's quicker coverage.
Half-hearted.
It's like he's not giving full effort, which is even when he's targeted on those plays, because on tape, of course, usually it's catches, right? But his route running, could be a bit slower on shorter passes. But he does catch well in traffic when defense is on him. Uses his frame well, fully extended, good feet to stay in bounds.
To me,
he does lack some athleticism, though.
Yeah, he can kind of get lost in a game, like production-wise.
Yeah.
But if you leave him open and you forget all about him, he'll make you pay.
Right. He
can make those catches. He got sure hands. For a player with this skill set, he's a great role guy for a team that just does that, for a running team where he's just expected to come in and block and be physical. Great prospect.
I find that I actually noticed the same thing with him and Rucker too, and that might going back to Rucker playing with a lot of good pieces around him. I found like there was a lot of plays when they catch touchdowns and they were wide open. Two of them. I noticed it with Otton too, like maybe like a play action or something, and they're baiting in on the run play. And
he fakes a block.
And then all of a sudden he's out, and a lot of his touchdowns were wide open. Ruckert, same thing. There's just so many people around him, and then they're just wide open. So like yes, they had pretty good production in terms of touchdowns, but they were just not hard catches really.
Yeah.
So definitely something to keep track of with two of these guys. So you were really high on Jelani Woods too. You really wanted me to check out his tape. So what was it you really liked about him mostly?
Yeah, this is my top rated tight end. He might be rated as 4th rounder.
Yeah, he's got a 3rd, 4th grade again, most likely 4th.
Yeah. So he's a tight end number 1 for me. Do it all. Receiving 50%, blocking 50%. Like, this guy can do everything you need on every down.
Man. He's
crazy
huge.
athlete.
He's huge, man.
So the thing I love about him is he's a former quarterback from high school.
That's insane.
And you would think he kind of understands how routes are supposed to, like how a decoy route may affect the wide receiver's route.
Right.
You know, he kind of knows his place in an offense as a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, massive body, massive catch radius. He goes up over the middle with 3 defenders surrounding him and just goes up and gets the ball, man.
Yeah.
Very competitive. He just runs through defenders and huge blocks.
Yeah.
It's like, how is a 6'2" corner at 210 supposed to deal with this guy 6'7", 260? Like, it's
and he ran a 4.61, which is one of the fastest 40-yard dashes by a tight end taller than 6'7" since 2003.
yeah,
It's
crazy.
almost 20 years.
Insane.
Yeah, just really quick again. You know, I'll be hearing this till, you know, my sleep tonight, but he's quick for his size. We're going to say that a lot today. But yeah, no, I really like what I've seen from him. Good range. Like his wingspan is just crazy big. Like he can go up and get it. He's not scared of getting hit. Huge red zone target. Strong, athletic, good body control. Soft hands. I mean, he really does a bit of everything. Good blocker, of course, again with the size. We fully expect that.
He's a bit slow off the line just because of his raw size.
Yeah.
But he used that size to his advantage when shielding off defenders and making catches.
You mentioned something to me, too, on our pre-pod that we were talking about this today. And you said there's a point where their size can hinder people in blocking.
Yeah.
That happens with him a little bit, too.
Yes.
He loses balance sometimes, and he gets knocked back. And, you know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So
if he can learn to get low and bend his knees and, lean forward a little bit.
He push them back and knock them right over potentially. You know what I mean? So use his size as a positive rather than sometimes a negative.
And in the pass catching game, he does use that as a positive.
Yeah.
You know, maybe run blocking hinders him a little bit, but to me, the benefits outweigh the negatives.
Yeah, I'm seeing too more fast and quick, they say. So he has good deep speed, but he's not shifty. He's not going to fake out a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Not going to break a whole lot of tackles.
Not like a call.
In terms of his speed, now his size, of course, will break tackles. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the last one we'll look at with tight end is Isaiah Likely. I will say I didn't see a whole lot of tape on this guy. Pretty short tape I've seen on him, but he seems like he's pretty good athlete as well. He's a good pass catcher. I mean, he's great yak yard, so he's able to take a pass and really make the most out of it. Breaking tackles, hard to bring down. Versatile player. You can put him in motion, H-back. Put him outside. He really has no trouble playing anywhere. Good hands. He's good at tracking the ball. Not a whole lot of drops.
His route running was crisp.
Yeah.
Like you see when he's about to hit the post, and it's just the defender always thinks he's going deep.
Yes.
And then the defender slowly turns his hips, man. Boom, breaks it inside.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot too. Like he would go outside like that, tap his feet inbound, and just look like routine. Just made it look like easy, you know, to run a route.
Yeah.
Catch it, secure the ball, feet down, routine play. Now, another thing too with getting feet down, like in college you only got to do one.
Yes.
So there probably is some adjustment getting into the NFL of doing 2 feet. I noticed a lot of players don't even try to do that in college. Well, because they don't have to.
Exactly.
But I'm sure there is some transition with that. Like you see it, there's one play, like a cornerback or something, like when they make a pick, if they're on the ground and they're not touched, the play is dead.
Yeah.
And then they did that in the NFL, and he thought the play was over. He could have got up and ran with it, but he just stopped.
Yeah.
And so there's different rules in college terms in the NFL that they got to get used to, and I just thought that was interesting that a lot of players when keeping their feet in bound are a little bit different in the NFL.
Yeah, to me, he's just a number one receiving tight end.
See what you did there.
He's not a third down guy. On inside runs, he's just not going to be able to be the lead blocker. He's going to get thrown around by big guys like Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Derek Wolfe, all these kind of guys.
Yeah.
Derek Wolfe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's got to be in a pass-happy offense, really.
Yeah.
But there is one more tight end I want to touch on.
Yep, sure.
Charlie Kolar.
Yes, of course.
Brock Purdy's tight end.
Yeah.
This guy's my sleeper in this draft. Not saying he's going to be the greatest tight end, but he's got phenomenal hands. Only 5 drops against 168 receptions over 44 games. That's one drop every 11 games.
Yeah.
Like,
awesome.
That's impressive.
Yeah, great hands.
Great body control. Massive red zone target.
A lot of touchdowns, yeah.
Tons.
Yeah.
He has great awareness when he's on the field. If the defense is set up in a zone and you got 3 linebackers playing a zone and your 2 safeties over the top, he'll just settle in a little spot in a little open field, put his hands up, and Brock Purdy was able to find a window, right?
Yep.
He's just great at finding space. Averaged 50 yards a game in college. That's just consistency.
And has a lot of games, so he's producing consistently.
Yeah.
He's really a great player. I enjoyed watching what tape I did see of him. I mean, he's he had the quarterback and the running back and him. So I mean, he kind of had all aspects of offense around him. So we'll see. And the thing about him I liked is he's projected in the 5th to 6th round. So I mean, he's probably going to get taken and could be, as you said, a very good sleeper to just take a shot at him. Could be a 3rd tight end on a team and really emerge, in a couple of years to be someone who can really produce catches, like especially as a 3rd tight end role, to have usually just a traditional blocker, but if he can come in and make plays too, definitely could be a steal for somebody.
To me, he's a more polished version of Jelani Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Just better body control, better hands. He's not a great pass protector.
No.
But, I mean, if you can just get the job done, even a chip block, and then get into your route. If you can add that to his game, he'll be good to go.
All right, so that wraps up tight ends, and so the way we approached this was John took a large hunk of the D line now that are going to be projected 1st to 2nd round, and I had a look at the offensive linemen. So we'll just not have us yarning on for a long time by ourselves. We'll kind of alternate back and forth. Like, he'll take 2 prospects and I'll take 2.
I'm going to be really quick too.
Yeah, well, same thing. I mean, a lot of these guys just had the same aspects about each other.
Yeah.
All 1st round grades, all great talent. I mean, all big guys who can obviously make plays. So we'll try to keep this short and sweet. So John, I'll let you kick it off with the D line.
So first, we got the potential number 1 overall pick, Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. 6'6", 265, just all-out effort on every play. He's engaged. This technique is phenomenal. His hand play, his inside move, his outside move, spin move. He's just got it all in his game. Great power in his hands when he's driving back with a bull rush. He can win matchups with speed, power, or just his hand moves. Mm-hmm. Like he's the full package. Forces fumbles.
Yeah.
You see his hand swipe at the quarterback. It's always on the money. Freak athlete. Even when the running back comes out and they got him doubled, it's interesting. What he does is he'll see what side the running back is on. He'll take the opposite side and isolate the first lineman, throw him out of the way, have that one-on-one done. Then he'll jump to the running back, throw him out of the way. So it's not a double team. It's 2 one-on-one matchups.
2 single teams.
Yeah, 2 single teams. There you go.
Yeah.
And it's just very interesting that this guy, he got a plan on every play that he's going to drive the ball. And that's one big difference that I found between a lot of these defensive linemen. They attack the offensive line with no plan. It's like the offensive lineman is pushing the agenda when it really should be the defensive lineman.
Well, they're waiting to see, I guess, if the offensive lineman's pushing them or dropping back, I guess.
Yeah. But this guy has a plan on every single play. That's what I really loved. He seems to me like a polished version of Max Crosby when he first came out of college. So a bit of developing to do, but he has a very high ceiling here.
Yeah.
We'll go 2 each.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, now we got Tavon Thibodeau out of Oregon. 6'5", 258. Very similar build, except this guy, he relies on physicality. He is a beast, but he seems like he takes plays off every now and again.
Yeah. Okay.
His motor is in question, and he may fall in the draft to maybe 10 to 15.
Yeah, I've seen, like, with Trayvon Walker, as you'll get to, he's rising in a lot of drafts. Out of the 2 of them, it seems like Thibodeau's the one that's falling.
Yeah.
Between him and Hutchinson. So interesting to see where he would go, because I've seen him drop even to like mid 1st round now.
Yeah, same.
So, yeah.
He's got a rare combination of speed, flexibility, and strength. Like, you notice when he's charging an offensive lineman and they give him one side, he's able to get his hand and his arm underneath them, get his hand behind their back, and propel himself forward. It's very impressive. Very quick off the line and anticipating the snap. It's like he's there, the snap goes, the offensive lineman looks at him, but he's not there anymore. He's behind him, and he's just gone, and the quarterback's blown up, and all the play is destroyed, right? But he's in the run game, in the run D, he would shed the offensive lineman, try and attack the interior gaps, the A and B gaps, when he should be sealing the outside as an edge rusher. But and he gave up a lot of runs that way. You know, a run that should have been 2 yards turned into 8.
Yeah.
A run that should have been for a loss was a gain of 3.
You see that a lot, like the Patriots are very hard on that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like, just do your job, stick in your role, don't try to make the superstar play, just kind of do what you're supposed to do, rather than, I'm going to try to blow this up on the inside. Like, okay, you're supposed to see on the outside, just kind of do what you're meant to do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. To me, he's an undisciplined Khalil Mack.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, solid player.
So we'll see where he goes. But getting into the top now prospects of the offensive line, I mean, Evan Neal really at the top of everybody's list. Just a huge man, 6'7", 350 pounds. I just want to read off a stat first before I get into it. Just like he clocked in 18.5 miles per hour on, like, you know, some of those, like, I can't remember what they're called. Anyways, it's like the stat thing where you keep how fast you're running. Like, some wide receivers were like 22 miles per hour. So he was going 18.5 at 350 pounds.
He's got 130 pounds on him.
Just, yeah, exactly. Like and more sometimes. Like, he benched 475, squatted 650. His box jumps were at 48 inches, 4 feet high. I mean, this guy is massive and he can jump 4 feet. Like,
you jump up and kick me in the tits.
That's what I mean. No, like that's insane. Just like, you know, very powerful. Just an athlete. You know, just has raw talent that can't be taught. Power, natural strength, size. He's just a freak, really. Versatile. He can play the left or right side. He has experience doing both. Sometimes you see tackles get drafted and they're a little bit skeptic to put them right on the left side yet, on the blind side. So, like with Wirfs with Tampa, they'll put them on the right side first.
Easy, man.
Get a couple years experience if they got a left tackle there that they feel comfortable with for the time being, and then switch him over maybe after his first contract.
One thing I found really interesting about this, his body fat index, or whatever that is called, BMI, is 22%.
Yes.
Is on average with most offensive linemen who are 40 pounds smaller than him.
Insane, yeah.
Just think about the muscle that's on this guy.
Exactly, yeah.
It's impressive.
Well, that's like Aaron Donald, who's like over 300 pounds but has a six-pack. It's just freak athletes, right?
Yeah.
So they say total dominator in the run game, best run blocker in the draft, bar none. Awareness, very above average. Foot speed, incredible. He's dominating like elite pro pass rushers in college.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, should be able to translate in NFL. Of course, day one starter, explosive, very athletic for offensive lineman. Easily the best one in the entire draft.
One issue that I did see with him.
Yeah, sure.
Was like his lateral quickness wasn't so good.
Mm-hmm.
So with super quick outside guys like Von Miller, even Aaron Donald, Max Crosby, he might have issues if they take the long way around. And just getting out, shifting out at that point,
well,
he might have.
I think that goes back to his size too, because like that was one thing I noticed, that he, like, his height becomes a negative rather than positive eventually with people that can get under him, under his pads, and then again, you know, the bigger they are, easier they are to like fall back. You don't want that big of a guy falling on your quarterback. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Could be a disaster. Speed rushers really give him fits. He just needs like his technique in his hands too in the run game as a pass blocker. Both instances he really has to, he kind of sits on his talent a little bit rather than his technique. And then he needs to be able to convert that again to even better pass rushers in NFL at the next level.
Do you have a comparison for him at all?
No, I never had comparisons, but he's good. So
I think Trent Williams with San Fran.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because he's massive too. Very similar.
Yeah. He is very similar build. Yeah. He did have problems with his weight too. He was 390 and above at some points,
Yeah, I did see that.
Which is insane.
Jesus.
He's going to need to work at keeping his weight down again. I mentioned to you guys earlier that like some offensive linemen, their incentives is keeping their weight down because I mean sometimes I guess it's just so much. Yeah, it's imagine being 390 pounds and just keep going and going and going. But obviously, cream of the crop, best guy, top 3 projection in the first round. He should be gone very, very early, top 5 for sure. So moving on, we'll look at Charles Cross. He's more in the middle of the first round. I expect him to fall a little bit outside the top 10, but should still go pretty early in day 1. Very athletic, explosive. He uses leverage and his technique, like I said, rather than just athletic talent. Yeah. He's able, when he's beaten initially, he recovers well.
Counters well, yeah.
Yeah, so he's able to come back. He has elite level hand placement. He's very good, like I said, technical side rather than all athlete. He's tough, strong. He's a good natural athlete, but he does, like I said, lean on his technique more so than his athleticism. He's pretty flexible for a big guy, so he's able to move quickly. He doesn't have a huge body as some of the other guys, so he does struggle in the run game sometimes. He had 357 snaps in 3 years, so he does have a lot of snaps, a lot of no injury history or anything, so he's pretty healthy.
That was in the run game, though, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And he spent most of his time, I think, 1,300 snaps.
As pass blocker. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the arm length to block once pass rushers cross him, so he uses more of his speed to catch up rather than his arm to like push them away. I guess if they're on the outside curling around. He's not physically imposing again because of his size, but he has good but not great overall strength. So he could again get in the NFL weight room. Could help his game a little bit.
Right, and you see, he plays with a nasty streak.
Yeah,
like when he pancakes somebody,
keeps him down.
He like driving him in the chest, just keep him down, and then he's barking at him like, he's just a very intense player.
Yeah. Which you love to see.
Oh yes, that's what you want
in trenches. Yeah,
To me, he kind of reminds me of a nastier Andrew Whitworth kind of.
Yeah,
like a mainstay for your team, right?
Yeah.
Moving into the third defensive line here, George Karlaftis out of Purdue. He massive body, great strength. He gets low, like we talked about the pad height and people getting under you. This doesn't happen to him. His bull rush is phenomenal. You see, even some of the left tackles that try to cover him, he just takes him by the chest, jogs him back, and it's not even his sack sometimes because he's just throwing the offensive lineman into the quarterback. And then the quarterback strip him up, makes bad throw, pick, or incomplete, or just a sack. He gets skinny to break through double teams. You got 2 guys coming, and he kind of goes to the side, splits them, gets to the quarterback. That's impressive, man. And this is a very similar thing to Aiden Hutchinson. When he gets doubled, he kind of breaks it up into 2 individual one-on-ones. And it's obviously hard on the body to do that, but it is effective. In the run game, he can hold his gap right on the edge, even when he's doubled. He's holding 2 guys with each arm, and like who wins the battle on the line of scrimmage? This guy will help you.
Right.
Not elite flexibility. Kind of get stuck if he's facing a big offensive lineman. Kind of lacks speed and agility. When he uses a spin move, I was watching tape, and a lot of times he'd spin into a double team, or he'd spin and end up 5 yards away from the quarterback.
Right.
And it's just, it didn't make any sense. But my comp for him is Justin Smith. Kind of an older player, but yeah. Moving on to a defensive tackle here, the first one. Jordan Davis played on Georgia on that unbelievable national championship winning defense.
Yeah.
He's an absolute truck. Extremely strong, great length, 6'6", 241. Very strong hands, straight speed is great for a defensive tackle. The Panthers drafted this guy, Derek Brown, last year, 7th overall, or in 2020, sorry. And this guy is pretty much a carbon copy of him. He'll be a day 1 starter. And you've seen that Carolina defense really turn on its head with Gilmore and him. They were good defense last year. It's just the offense let them down.
They were solid,
Height sometimes works against them, double teams. They can get low and throw off center of gravity. Lack of agility. Not a great pass rusher. Not a great pass rusher. Kind of lacks effort and intensity.
Yeah.
Sometimes, he's lined up over center, and he's just stood there holding the center. Like it's a spy or something. You know what I mean? Like he's playing a zone, kind of.
Yeah.
And it didn't make much sense. But because of his weight, kind of a stamina question too. Is he an actual 3-down player? It's yet to be seen. He's pulled out of the game on a lot of obvious passing situations. So
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into a couple of guards now. First, we're looking at is Akeem Ekwonu.
This guy might have been one of my favorite to watch.
Yeah, so he was obviously doesn't have the size and speed for tackle, but very good size for guard. He has good agility, technique. Very interesting that he was a high school wrestler.
Yes.
So he kind of uses that within his technique.
He's a mauler. I think they describe him as.
Yeah, so he's just like a bear.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's just a bear of a man. Really good run blocker specifically. Probably only Evan Neal is ahead of him. He just uses his aggressive side and just terrifies smaller linebackers when they're blitzing.
Yeah.
They do not want to run at him. But he does have good agility and technique and size. Just be day one starter. Quick active hands. He has good foot quickness, so he can kind of go outside if he has to.
Almost not necessary for guard most times.
It's not, but if the tackle just gets cleanly beaten,
yes,
he can use that to kind of help out, or for double team, for example.
Right.
He has good lateral quickness, as I said, right there. Good makeup speed. Super hard worker. Very high IQ. Very smart. That's good to see when it comes to learning playbooks and schemes and whatnot. Pass blocker. He's really good against bull rush and bigger guys. He's good at absorbing power, so like if guys are coming at him, he can really put up with that.
There's one move that he has. It's called the snatch and trap. So when it's a bull rush, he knocks the hands down, like just say you got two hands on my chest pushing me.
Yeah.
He takes his two hands, cracks them down, grabs the shoulder pads, and throws Buddy to the ground.
Well, because that force is going at him, right,
Yeah.
already, so kind of uses his own momentum against him, right?
It's impressive.
Yeah, pretty solid. So same thing. He was very fast, got up to 18 miles per hour at one point. Like, these guys are crazy fast. He didn't run as quick of a 40, but 4.92, pretty solid for a guy that big. Just hilarious how these guys can go so fast. So for weaknesses, needs to improve his technique as a pass rusher. He doesn't learn. He makes the same mistakes over and over, so could be an issue of coachability. He's better suited to his own blocking scheme, so could limit what teams kind of want him if he's only used to a particular scheme.
Right.
Underdeveloped pass blocker. He struggles in pass protection, so again, probably something to learn on. And he stops his feet after initial contact, kind of relying on the length of his arms to kind of keep people away. So he's kind of susceptible to spins inside.
I seen that he's had a fair bit of holding calls.
Yeah.
Just because of what you just noted,
like,
right?
If he stopped in one place and someone spins on him, then they're to his left or his right, he doesn't have the shuffle in his feet to make up for that speed, and then he kind of has to rely on taking a penalty.
Yep.
All right, so getting into Kenyon Green now. I meant to mention too that he is also great as a first round talent. Now, whether or not he will go, because there's so many, especially with guards. Like, who do you really prefer?
Yeah.
But there is a lot of them here. So Kenyon Green, also first round talent, very versatile player. He's lined up in every position besides center. So that's good to see that he can move around. Great for injuries if they ever come up. Really smart. Plays, again, nasty streak. Good work ethic. Quick feet, explosive. He can move amazingly fast for a big guy.
Impossible to bull rush.
Could be the biggest athletic lineman in the whole class. He has a natural wide base, thick, good length, strong legs, hard to push back, as you said, with bull rush. So getting into negatives, he's a good run blocker, but he has a limited ability as a pass blocker. So he needs to work on that. He didn't dominate statistically. Allowed 48 pressures in 3 years, which is pretty average.
Yeah, mid-tier.
He does attack sometimes, though. He does sit back and can lose his balance sometimes, overextending, not moving his feet quick enough. Needs to work on his technique a little bit in pass protection. Uses leverage and doesn't always move his feet, so that's a consistent thing we see with these guys, is going to keep their feet in one place. And same thing, he doesn't move his feet after initial contact, so he kind of uses his arms to reach out sometimes. Could run into penalty trouble for him as well.
Okay. Next on defensive line, we got Trayvon Walker. The guy shooting up everybody's
moving
draft
up
board.
in the draft like crazy.
I've seen him taking number 1 in some mock drafts, which is...
I have as well.
And it's all because of his athletic ability. This guy can do anything. He can pass rush just with sheer will and athletic ability. He can get to the quarterback. But he can also drop in coverage as a kind of a spy for the running back or tight ends. Historical physical traits, 4.51 in the 40 at 272 pounds. That's unprecedented. Has an elite combination of speed, size, and strength, like I said. He fails to plan out his attack on a lot of rushes, though. Doesn't have a deep repertoire of pass rush moves. He's very unpolished for a player that spent 3 years in college. But his athletic ability is setting him up draft boards. He'll get drafted really high here.
Right.
Drake Jackson out of South Carolina, 6'4", 260. Great closing speed, 4.5 in the 40. Great length. His athleticism, drop into coverage or penetrate the pocket. He got a deep tool bag, though. I don't know. He might have 7 to 8 different pass rush moves he could throw at a lineman at any time.
That's insane.
Good at sniffing out screens and draw plays. His height kind of leaves him vulnerable to cut blocks. Chipping him in the knees, kind of inconsistent as a tackler. He kind of just lets when he wraps up, hands slip, hit the turf, running back goes on.
Right. Okay.
Doesn't have great hand counters. Doesn't plan out his pass rushes for the snap. He just reacts to, opposed to acting, he's reacting to what the lineman did.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people in this, But his ceiling to me is Marcus Golden with the Cardinals, outside linebacker.
Yeah.
3 seasons with double-digit sacks, which is good.
Yeah.
But a floor, kind of Lorenzo Carter. Giants outside linebacker. He had 14.5 sacks in 4 years. So some production, but that could be an issue.
Would probably be considered a bust if he does go as high as
Yes, yeah.
he can.
If he ends up as Lorenzo Carter with just 14 sacks in 4 years, well, probably an issue for teams.
Definitely.
All right. Who we got up next here for the offensive line?
We're going to look at Trevor Penning now. Probably one of my favorite guys I've seen. I was really a fan of his. He's nasty too, man. He can push guys. Yeah, he's massive. He's on the freak list again. Squats 625, which is a record for the school. Size 17 shoe. This guy is just massive.
This is Shaq.
Yeah, put up a 4.89 40. So again, just phenomenal athleticism. Just a massive human. He's quick, loose hips, can move very quickly, very powerful, good technique in all aspects. Extremely long arms. His kick slide and movement to his left is very, very explosive. Attacks his man, really initiates contact rather than sitting back and waiting for contact. Kind of like you said with some of the D-line. He's the ability to mirror speed rushers. So he's able to match him with speed or power on either side. Getting to his negatives, caught holding when he loses leverage. He just first instinct is to hold. And he loses leverage battles and he plays with a high pad level, so they can't get under him because he goes for the higher approach rather than under. He plays and whiffs blocks. If he's beaten right off the hop, he'll just kind of let it go or cause a penalty.
Right.
He'll punch at smaller defenders instead of trying to latch on. which kind of holds him in place rather than push him back.
Yeah.
It just kind of stalls him for a minute. It doesn't necessarily stop anybody. But I did like what I seen from him initially. Obviously, a huge man could end up being a negative, I guess, if teams or players are trying to get under him and use his size against him. But overall, very, very positive. He's a first-round grade as well.
One issue with him, too, he played in FCS.
Yeah.
Which is kind of...
smaller.
Yeah, he never really played much top-level talent.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's right. So getting to my last grade that's in the first round is Tyler Linderbaum. Now, he is listed as a center.
Yeah.
So he is the only one out of these guys, all tackles and guards besides Linderbaum, who's a center, but he is by far and away the highest graded one.
Yeah.
Real technician, great feel for where he plays. Good.
He was a wrestler, wasn't he?
Good athleticism. I'm not. Yeah, he did. Yep. So he uses his lower body and definitely his legs.
Yes, man.
As a big way to gain leverage. Elite pass protector. Only giving up 2 sacks in 3 years. So really, really solid.
Now, I'm not sure how to kind of judge a center on that because he's got so much protection around him. You know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But
traditionally, they do give up less sacks, but they're dealing with bigger guys. Too,
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So again, freak list, 590-pound squat, just insane. Elite feet, 4.22 time in a shuffle, which will rival a good running back.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's just crazy. Great body control for his size. Mobile, quick feet. So very, very solid. So some negatives. Stronger pass rushers can get under his pads and just move him to the side very quickly, especially stronger ones. He's not really physically imposing, has average overall strength, a little small. So if he's a little small for a center, that's pretty concerning. Loses leverage battles, plays with a high pad level again, which leaves him to be shifted to the side. Sometimes he's over aggressive and can overrun plays, screen passes, for example.
Like get too far out in front.
And he's a little fiery sometimes and can get penalties for stuff like that. So overall, he's a mid first round grade, highest center by far. Any teams that are very needed for a center in the first round, I mean, that's definitely your guy.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, I'll get to my last 2 defensive linemen here. I know there's a lot more on the list there, but some of these guys, like, I'll just mention them now. Jermaine Johnson, he seems like a pretty solid player, to be totally honest. Just very versatile, you know?
Yeah.
He only played 1 year as a true defensive end, so there's questions there for him. Devontae White, Logan Hall, and DeMarvin Leal. Good players, but second round grades. You know, not gonna be home runs in the draft by any means.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it's necessary for me to hit on those guys.
I think they're listed as second round and on guys, right?
Yeah.
For those, yeah.
Yeah. But I will get into David Ojabo. We were hoping that potentially go to the Bucs.
Yeah.
He's a ball hawk, forces tons of fumbles here. Played for Michigan alongside Aiden Hutchinson. A lot of pass rush moves. Very fluid. Like, the guy's in and out of his attack plan. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But the issue with him, I find it very hard to judge. Aiden Hutchinson received all the double teams, and he was singled the whole time. So, you know, his production could be in question here. And the biggest issue, torn Achilles on his pro day. What a sad day for this man.
That sucks.
That is brutal. One interesting thing, though, he only played 50% of the snaps, and he still had 11 sacks. Jesus, could you imagine if he played every down? Like, well, now it probably could have worked against him as fatigue and stuff, but
yeah,
I just thought that was pretty good. Next, they got Arnold Ebikiti. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
But he's fairly small, but he's got long arms, so good length and speed. Great motor. Continues to fight when the offensive lineman counters him.
Yeah.
He gets very low and maintains balance just because of his height. Makes big plays in the run game. Tackle for a lost monster. Condenses the pocket with pure strength. Just back in line and into the pocket and making it hard on the quarterback. elite lateral quickness and speed to get to sideline to sideline. So on outside runs, you could see him making a tackle on the boundary. Size in question, obviously, not as natural, and loses power when rushing on the opposite side. So when he's on top of the right tackle, I guess he must be left-handed or right-handed.
Right.
Either way, it kind of affects his game a little bit. So he's got to be rushing on the left tackle side. That's where he's most effective.
Okay.
He kind of loses it a little bit on the right side.
I can see that. I feel like I would be like that.
Yeah, same. He's very good in the run game, but gambles with wide, unneeded angles to the ball carrier.
Yeah.
To me, his comparison Shaq Barrett.
Interesting.
So very high ceiling.
Yeah. All right. So we'll wrap up the first round projected guys with Darian Kinnard, Texas man. Feet to adjust. Just a mauler too. Very, very big man. Smart, great lateral movement. He dominating pass protector, long arms. He can really evade rushers. Explosive out of his initial stance with a good burst. Quick feet, big athlete, good size. Negatives, he needs to work on his technique and pass protection. Needs to be more consistent. He's a little bit moving his feet. A lot of these guys just staying in one place, don't move their feet as soon as they're contacted.
That can be fixed coaching. No hope.
Yeah. You definitely hope it's a coachable thing. Yep. He needs to improve his hand level too, where he initially has his hands. Some people just have great technique on where they're putting their arms. He just does not. He overshoots sometimes, blocks, and leaves himself kind of wobbling, I guess, and like he'll miss him completely with his hand level, and then he'll be off balance and easy to push to the side.
Okay.
He'll lose leverage battles this way. Again, he'll punch at smaller guys rather than try and just holds them, and it doesn't hold them in place. It just stops them for a second. Right. I guess it kind of surprises them if you're expecting to be pushed and you're just punching the head.
Yeah.
you kind of just like shake your head like what? So yeah, that's his weaknesses. But again, projected in the first round. So I just want to do a quick mention to some of the other guys that are in the second round. Nicholas Petit Frere, which I'm still convinced means small fry. Which is really ironic with the size of him. Again, good size, very quick, versatile, same as most of these guys down the stretch. Daniel Failele, which where was it? They said he was from. I think it was Australia, right?
Australia. Yeah.
Australia. Yeah, he's 6'9", 380 pounds, just like huge man. That's crazy. He's one of the biggest size guys. Raw power and strength, of course. And Zion Johnson, who's been mocked a lot in the first round, even though he does have a second round grade here. A lot of talk from the Bucs because he is a guard that they would potentially look at him to fill in for the rest of their line there at left tackle. He went to Boston College. Very good run blocker, willing to attack, good size, strength. 32 reps bench. 34.5 inches vertical jump, which is pretty solid.
That's great for linemen.
Yeah, so those are the couple that stand out there. But the last one I want to touch on here today is a second round draft grade that could go up in the first. Bernhard Raymond. Had him as Rain Man first.
Rain Man.
Yeah. So he has good power and strength against bull rush. Good pass blocker, versatile, like most of them here. Good run blocker. His running back rushed for over 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns this season. So he's
Christ. Was that Spiller?
He's on a pretty good line. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the highest rated blockers in football. So he's dominated again. There's some small school aspect to that helps him. Smooth mover, covers a lot of ground, good makeup speed. Super smart, had 3.8 GPA, so that's good to see as well.
Right, so this class to me is offensive line and defensive line is crazy.
Well, there's I think 7 to 8 offensive linemen here with a first round grade. I mean, you had about same thing, about 8 or 9. I mean, that's half the first round right there.
Yeah, just looking at the way that they graded it on this website.
Yeah.
There's 12 offensive linemen with an 80, 85 or above grade.
Yeah.
Last year there was only 6.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
This year for the defensive line, there's 14 guys above 87 grade.
That's insane.
Last year there's only 5. So there's some talent coming out this year.
Yeah, and definitely a lot of these guys will fall to the second round. So, like, there's definitely some, because again, like, will quarterbacks be overdrafted? Like, there's so many
Wide
receivers
receivers
like, are gonna go like crazy. So yeah, there's definitely some talent here that's gonna fall off between all these guys. So yeah, that'll just about wrap it up, I guess, for everybody we had now between the offensive, defensive line, tight ends, and running back. So we got one more to go, and we'll be looking at linebackers and secondary next week.
Yep.
So safeties, corners,
I think that's
and
gonna be a fun
linebackers.
one.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. Obviously, gonna need some good cornerback class to keep up with a lot of these wideouts that are going out.
Yes, sir.
So pretty solid class of corners, I believe, too, coming out this year. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that next week. We got one more to go, and then we'll get into our mock draft the following week, and then our live draft show, of course. So is there anything else you want to touch on before we head out?
No, I'm good. Just like and share the podcast. We appreciate anybody listening here. We're gonna keep it up now with this with the prospects list, and I can't wait for the season to start, Shane.
Yeah, I mean,
Get more focused on the actual game.
It's sad to think we're still about 5 to 6 months away. I mean,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of time between now and kickoff, but yeah, definitely look forward to it. I mean, the draft should be really fun. I'm really looking forward to our live draft show to kind of see how it all plays out. Looking at prospects this year for the first time, as deep as I have. Definitely look forward to see how it all plays out. Usually, I'm familiar with most of the names in the first round. Should be pretty good with most of them this year.
Yeah.
See how it all plays out. So till next time, I guess we'll wait and we'll look up some more guys. We'll touch on the rest of the defense next week. So for Shane Stanley and John Epps, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next NFL Roundup podcast.
Take it easy.